Do you have solar installed on your RV? No? Well, that's okay, neither do I. But I met a guy. His name is Dave, and he's going to tell us all about his solar system he has on his travel trailer. Come on, let's listen to Dave, see what he has to say. That's right, while working at Millbridge Village Camp Resort, as a work camper, I met Dave. He showed me his travel trailer. He's got a solar system on it, and I thought it was pretty awesome. He said he'd be willing to give us a little tour. So here we go. We're going to let Dave tell us all about his solar system. Now, the video did run a little bit long, but it's a lot of good information, a lot of value. So come on, let's get on to it. All right, tell us all about it.
All right, you recording now?
Yes, it is. Right. It is recording.
I'm Dave Flynn. My wife Rosemary are from Laurel, Maryland. We run our own website on eternalsolar.net, and as you can see, we have a very, very solar camper. It's 1,730 watts of solar in two different arrays. The one on the front that you can see the best, and then on top we have four 345 watt solar panels. And from the view you see now, you can see the large 1 meter antenna on the side, which is an AM/FM Pixel 4 antenna. It's a no ground plane antenna, which is what you need for a fiberglass box because there's no metal sheet on the outside of the camper. There's a tiny little Porky Pig antenna right there in front that you can barely make out on the upper front corner. That is our antenna for cell phone repeater. We have a Nextivity Cell-Fi Go, which talks to the cell tower. So the FCC allows 10 dB more boost on that than the Wilson systems, which are common in the RV industry. Behind that we have a steerable AM/FM antenna by King, which a lot of other people have. And as you see, the big panels on the top, they get the bulk of our solar. It's about 1,400 watts total on the top, 350 in the front, which is on a separate solar controller. So if I walk you guys over, we can show you what's inside and drives all this. A Rover lithium solar controller. It's about 30 amp MPPT. And the maximum power point tracking systems actually do get more energy back from the solar panels. And this is for the stuff on the nose. 350 watts comes in and is converted here. As you can see, I have two breakers above and below the system and a Bluetooth transmitter. So I don't have to open this up to look at it. It talks to my phone. In front, I have 5 lithium ferrophosphate batteries. They're made by a company called Battleborn, and we think they're the best on the market. They're a 10-year warranty, lithium ferrophosphate 100 amp. They're all run in parallel for a 12-volt system that meshes with our camper. And in back, you can see we have a 3,000 watt inverter, pure sine. It's a hybrid inverter. And the nice thing about this is it'll peak at about 3,500 watts. We can literally run our air conditioner from this entire system without any adjustment. And the reason for that is because we put an easy start on the air conditioner, so we never go over about 40 amps total. Now, let's walk you around and show you what's all together here. These two panels are 175 watts each. We run them in series. This is basically our dawn wake-up panel set. As the sun's coming up, it hits these two. And we get about 2 or 3 hours of sun focused on this before the top takes over everything. We run our cables in, down below, and into the cabin where you saw the MPPT controller.
Okay.
What made us buy the camper is something that's pretty much simpler, that's more common in the industry, and that is our outdoor cooking. And of course we have the slide-out 2-burner, microwave, fridge, toaster, but everything is on these rare earth magnets. So we can put these things down. It's glued onto the microwaves and toasters. So you can slide stuff around and still have use of it.
But it doesn't slide on its own because these are super
strong.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the outside grill swings out. So we really can do everything out here. The catch is this.
So the things that I like the best about the solar system, and not everybody thinks about this, but when you're traveling, you have to keep your food cold.
Yes.
So we have an outdoor fridge that we have added to the outdoor kitchen, which is my favorite part of the entire unit. But there's an indoor fridge as well. That's the normal RV fridge. With the solar system, we engage it when we leave the driveway, and it keeps everything cold until we get to the campground. So even if you're plugging in, you still have cold food without having to pack a separate cooler. So everything just stays in from the beginning to the end, and I put it in when we're loading the camper, take everything out at the end, and we are good to go. I can make my toast, I can microwave, everything's outside so it doesn't smell up the camper.
Halloween decorations is my wife, Rosemary.
Hi there, how are you?
And she,
Well, hello, Rosemary. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity to come over here and talk to you guys.
Yeah. We had fun putting together all the decorations for the Halloween contest.
Yeah.
And although we're running on your 30 amp here, we could have run everything that we did, including the smoke machine, off our solar if we'd wanted to.
Okay. Now inside, we're gonna go inside.
Come on in.
Okay.
The outside controller, this a Midnight Classic, is a 96 amp controller. It's an MPPT also. It's basically an $800 computer. It takes all the voltages above and converts everything to 12, 14.4 really, to charge our batteries.
Right.
Today we've collected 1.3 kilowatt hours total because our batteries are at 14.1, which means they're fully charged. We can't put any more in. It keeps a log of the amount that we collect every day. We've got breakers above and below, so it's just like the system outside, only we use the more professional breaker box because there's a lot more current here, as you can see from the cables.
When you say breakers above and below, that means
Breakers
low volt
above and below this box.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay,
I
gotcha.
can disconnect the solar array,
Okay.
and I can totally isolate this out from the system.
Okay.
And there are times when you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, here we have a subwoofer. It's 250 watts in the system.
And it sounds nice.
We've done a lot in the sound system here.
Yeah.
We put in 80 watt per channel into 4 ohm amplifier into JBL speakers we put in with this subwoofer and a Sonos soundbar for the TV. We set it up with a special system that will enable us to use the talkback from the TV to run through the house system. Press a button, boom, it's on. This is the Selfie Go, and it basically is our cell phone booster. Behind this, you can see the inlet here from our cable for the AM/FM radio, which is the antenna outside the Pixel 4.
That was the
Pixel 4 antenna
Right.
outside.
right.
I don't know if it would be useful to you to have me turn the stereo on, because I don't know if you guys can pick that up, but the cool thing about this is we get stereo out here, and we get a whole lot because our antenna just works perfectly.
Right. Right.
If you were in charge of your wireless plan, you'd most likely do something to save yourself a bunch of money.
So you get AM/FM radio over the air.
We get satellite TV.
You got satellite TV.
We have a hard drive which will hold 100 or more movies. It's a terabyte.
Right.
And the way this is set up, it runs into an HDMI splitter that splits both audio and video. The one we had before just split video. Because it splits audio and video, we've been able to save a whole lot of money on satellite, because when we turn on the satellite system, I'll just show you what this does. It's kind of cool. Now, we're not at a point now where we've paid for satellite service on this site, because a lot of these sites have cable and other stuff. So, but they still give you a function so you can see that your satellite is working. So if you want to add it in, you can. There's no sense spending $55 a month on satellite when you don't have view of the satellite system.
Right.
Dish Network is the one that does this, and it's really pretty good. And it's showing me, well, I guess it seems to want to go ahead and give me TV anyway. So I've got my TV on, I turn on the sound. And the cool thing about this is, this same channel will play on the other side without me spending any more money on another receiver.
You say the other side, you mean in your bedroom?
So let's see if we can come in this way, if I can turn it on for you.
So you split the signal.
Yeah, and the HDMI splitter does it with no loss.
Right.
It's a very nice system. See if I can get this to come up for you. Let me bring this up, get the source right. So I'm showing you what matters here.
Yeah. So whatever's playing out there is playing in here.
This satellite and that satellite, it's the exact same signal coming in on both.
Ah, okay.
So if we want to watch satellite TV and we're in here at night,
right,
we can do so. Or out here, and we can do so.
Okay.
It's the same thing either way, and we don't have to spend extra money on this.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people get the 2-receiver system, and it doubles the cost of running it just because they're running 2 TVs. You really don't have to do that. Now what that does is, that Porky Pig antenna on the front has its own ground plane that we made.
Mm-hmm.
It amplifies it into this system, runs it through a cable here, and off this pallet, it spreads the signal long ways throughout.
Right.
So we get another couple bars than we would get otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So the net, we get strong cell service no matter where we go. If there's any cell service at all to be had.
Right, right.
And as I said, this system will run the air conditioner from the solar system. If we wanted to do that, all we do is just turn on the solar system. To do that, you just switch on the inverter. When it says inverter on,
mm-hmm,
then we're on the inverter and the AC outside. So it wouldn't be a fair test now because I got AC hooked on.
right,
But that's all it takes to turn the solar system on or off.
right, right.
And this system shows me how much current I'm drawing from batteries, what my battery status is. So if I want to go to my battery status, battery is at 100%. Well, that's not surprising.
Right.
Lithium ferrophosphate batteries charge up to about 14.4 and then drop down to 13.7, 13.8.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's in the nature of the chemistry of the cell. So the cool thing about this whole thing is I can monitor at any time where my batteries are in the total picture of health. My total amp hours out is 1,322.
Mm-hmm.
We burn 20 amp hours DC per hour.
20 amp hours per hour.
So it runs around 250 watts, roughly.
Uh-huh.
And roughly, we burn about 6 kilowatts a day, which our solar system recovers.
Uh-huh.
The only downside of any solar system is if you burn more than you use, your battery management system will shut down the batteries to protect themselves, and then you have to manually restart it by jumping from the car. We have panels on the front, top, and we're putting more on the rear so that we can follow the whole sun cycle with the camper.
And what will be your total wattage then, you think?
We'd be at 2080 then.
2080.
Correct. Now, panels that are on the front and the rear tend to be 70% as effective as the ones on the roof.
Right, right.
And the ones on the roof tend to be 75. They provide about 75% of what they're rated.
Right, right.
So,
but the front and the rear is mainly to...
well, here's the thing. As the sun is low on the horizon during the winter,
mm-hmm,
it's facing right at the front and the rear, not
right,
the roof.
Right.
So panels that are there all of a sudden become a whole lot more effective. So our usable year for the solar system goes up by 3 months.
Sure.
1.5 on the front of each end.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we're really trying to do in the winter is keep the fan going on our heater.
Right.
At 33 degrees last night.
Yeah. It was chilly.
We have enough gas in front to keep the heater going for 1 week for every 20-pound container, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're 2 weeks. But we'd be out of batteries if we didn't have solar in 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So because of the solar, we can keep going until we run out of gas. And most places are glad to refill your gas.
Sure.
Electricity in some of the state parks and stuff like that is not to be had.
Right.
So
right.
we still have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the 21st century still remains here, even if everything else goes to hell.
Right. You wanna talk a little bit about future plans for a website or YouTube or anything like that?
Well, it has dawned on my wife and I that the industry has a lot of people who are doing testing of solar equipment, and a lot of people that are not engineers setting their solar systems up and creating Patreon YouTube sites. We don't have any that we recommend, but the two that we like are the ones that started it, probably Gone with the Winds and Technomania.
Right.
But a lot of that stuff now is kind of dated.
Right.
They were using lithium prismatic cells, and they had 800-watt systems that were solar, and that was big at the time. These people have moved on to bigger and better things, but because I'm an engineer, I thought, what would happen if you did the same thing those folks did, but put an engineer in the mix? And whenever I order equipment, I don't talk to the salespeople, I talk to the engineers. My JBL speakers in the roof handle 60 watts RMS, 180 watts peak. They have tweeters built in. They're butyl rubber surrounds with polypropylene cones. I know exactly what is in this camper and exactly how it works.
Right.
They're 3.5 ohms. That amp is designed for 4 ohms, so it'll more than manage the sound that I've got here.
Mm-hmm.
We understand our system, my wife and I. And you have to in order to keep it running, because you're going to run into problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For us, we've decided to go ahead and move forward and start reviewing some of the campgrounds we go to, because there were 3 times as many campers sold in this last year as the year before. And a lot of people are interested in off-grid solutions because people want to get out and get away.
Mm-hmm.
And the places we go to, like Shenandoah, Assateague State National Park, generally speaking, have no hookup.
Right.
There are some wilderness areas Department of Land Management has, and others where people can do off-grid camping. Our stuff's perfect for that. And we just did 2 weeks out at Assateague National Park. And, you know, we had the lights on.
Right. Right.
The only other people that had lights on had generators running. And now you're running into campgrounds who have no generator loops.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because people don't want to go and just listen to someone's generator.
Right. Right.
What's the point?
Yeah.
So with this system, I can watch a movie at 2:30 in the morning, charge my phones, run my computers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fine.
Right. Right.
We just leave it on 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and just don't think about it. So, in the grand scheme of things, the service we think we can probably provide to the industry is review of the sites that handle these kinds of camping experiences and the technology needed to be in those campgrounds without any speed bumps from lack of power, cell phone service, satellite service, whatever. When you're at Assateague State National Park, there's no better place in the world to have a satellite system.
Right.
There
Right.
isn't a tree on the island.
Right.
We've also learned that in the summer, middle of July, it's extremely hot. It's 95 degrees. Even though we can run our air conditioner from the system, if we collect 6 or 7 kilowatts in a day, that's a maximum of 4 hours running your air conditioner, and then you're out of power. So you need an array 4 times the size of what we have to do what we do at home. So we have fans behind you in the bathroom and here that are fantastic vents.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've rewired them so that they don't shut off in the rain, but they still have the power control to open and close them, which is what this unit is here,
Right.
which is kind of cool. So it opens and closes automatically. When we had it set up on the rain sensor couldn't be disabled, and we went to the beach because it was so humid, humidity would build up, and right when it was hottest, it'd shut the fan off on you, which is extremely infuriating because at 3 in the morning, you're hotter than hell, and you're in a battle with your fan that's shutting itself off every 2.5 minutes. So,
An outro.
thank you for coming to see David and Rosemary and our very solar camper. EternalSolar.net is our place, and we'll continue to do more building and testing, kind of stuff that's not elsewhere on YouTube. And we really appreciate you coming to see us today.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot of information. 2,080 watts of power, solar power. Now, if you're planning on putting in a solar system or you've already got a solar system, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you got, what you plan to have. How many watts are you going to have? Now, if you like this story, click like down below and smash that subscribe button if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. New stories every week on Wednesday right here on this YouTube channel. And ring that bell. If you ring the bell, you get the notification every time I post a new story, because you don't want to miss one. Until later, thanks for your time. Bye, and Merry Christmas.